Hi, this is Mr. Radel, and I'm going to teach you how to use Carbide Create V6 for the CNC milling machine. You can either go to your all applications and go down to Carbide Create V6, or in here you can just type in Carbide and Carbide Create V6 will pop up. So you'll notice that when you start it, a couple of things are true. Number one, this red and white circles in the bottom left-hand corner. That's something we got to get changed. And also, it's presuming that we have a square piece of wood 8 inches by 8 inches, which may not be true. So out of this bin, you can pull one of these pieces of pine wood and use the sander to make nice, good edges. And you can also use some tissue to brush a little bit of paint in one of the sides. And we have a hair dryer that you can use to dry off the paint and start making a carving pretty quickly. So those are the first things you need to get going. And the reason you need to have your piece of wood figured out first is because your wood's probably not 8 inches by 8 inches. So you got to get a ruler and measure it. There's a poster about divisions of an inch because it's not going to let you put in fractions. It's going to make you put in a decimal number. So if you're at half an inch, like that middle line there, it's 0.50. So you'll be putting in that information in here in the setup. If you click on the gear, it wants to know the width, and I don't know, 6.8. It's pretty typical that I've cut them at. Height, most of these pieces are at 5.4. But again, measure it with a ruler and then figure out the last part with the poster on the wall. Gotta make sure I change this red dot situation from lower left to center because that's how I'm going to line it up on the machine, the piece of wood with the machine when I actually put it on there. All right, now I can see that my red and white circle is in the middle and my size has changed. I'm now 5.4 by 6.8. So first thing everybody's going to want to do is import a piece of some kind of picture. I would do black and white clip art. A lot of people like to use text, and this is a perfectly good place to use text. I'll just quickly show you how it works. Um, you type in your text there. You can change it. I like to use bold letters. You can hit apply and see what you did, and you can go back and change the size of it and stuff like that later on. But you may not want to use text. You may want to use an image. Easiest way to get an image in here is Google Images search. Um, I would do a logo. Like, let's say I wanted to do, I don't know, Batman logo. All right. Pictures that are full color and in designs and details like these are not going to be good. Pictures that are very simple and black and white, like uh, maybe that one, this one. This would be a good one. I'm going to try to use this one. Let's see if it'll let me save this image as a reasonable file type. It doesn't like that file type. So I'm going to try to uh, snipping tool it. Then save it into my green folder. Then I can go back to this Carbide Create V6 and under import, this middle one is trace image. And I hit trace image and I go back to my green folder where I saved the Batman logo. It will now let me trace it. And I can ungroup them so that I can fix some of the bad spots by deleting those things out. And I got a basic Batman logo. I'm going to regroup those together. This button lets me change the scale or the size of it. So now it'll fit. This is an important button, align. On this one, I'm going to line it up, down, and left and right. So it's in my center. And then I got basically a good design, but I haven't done my toolpaths yet. Under toolpaths, I'm going to change the simulator to Beechwood and click off of these. Later you'll see why it'll show a better simulation. But I got to choose a way to copy it or cut it. My favorite ones are Pocket. I would probably use, yeah, that's the right tool. Otherwise, you could use a smaller tool like the 16th of an inch end mill and say, okay. And when you do, you'll notice that it gets into these spots where that other larger eighth of an inch tool didn't. So that's going to make a better cut. We'll look at it on the simulation. And there's my Batman logo. I can save the whole project if I want to my green folder, but and just name it Batman or whatever. But what I really want to do right now is save to a USB drive like one of these, the cutting code, the G code file. So if I put in my USB drive, there it is. Name it Batman and save it in my USB drive. It might take a minute and make this pop up, but this is the right setting, basic G code. Then you can say okay, and it should be saved in your USB drive. You can take your USB drive over to the machine and I'll help you from there.